Welcome to Release Readiness Live. I'm Elna Miller, your community moderator. It has been my pleasure to be with you all week while we talk about some of the great new features in the Winter 19 release. And today we're rounding out the week with our broadcast on Community Cloud. So I'm very excited to have you join us today. Now, what I love about Release Readiness Live is no matter what type of Trailblazer you are, whether this is your first Salesforce release or your 20th, you're in for a treat. Our product managers are right here in the studio. They're going to give you some live demos and answer some of your questions on the air. And speaking of questions, I'm very excited to welcome back our original community rock star, Sam Acuff, who's going to tell us how it works.
Hello, thank you very much, Elna, and hello, everybody. This is probably my favorite topic. I adore our community platform and love to be active in the community itself. So, how do you ask questions? You use the hashtag Salesforce Live. Out on the Trailblazer community, you'll see that we have our great group, Release Readiness Trailblazers. Simply post your question, use the hashtag Salesforce Live, and that way I can find it. Also, you can ask questions on Twitter as well. Again, use the hashtag Salesforce Live. That is the way that I see your questions. Now remember, we have a policy of no question left behind. So should we not get to your question on the air, we still will be following up and giving you specific answers either in Twitter or in the community. So Elna, back to you.
Thank you so much, Sam. We're looking forward to your questions. And we are recording today as we have been recording all week. And there are links to all the recordings available on the page that you're looking at right now. And we have some bonus recordings even that you may want to check out after today. Now, since we are covering the roadmap today, we may be making some forward-looking statements, in which case we want to remind you to please make your purchasing decisions based on currently available functionality. And now, let's welcome our product managers from Community Cloud, starting with Eric. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you very much, Elna, and it's wonderful to be here. My name is Eric Lerner. I am Senior Director of Product Management, easy for you to say, here at Salesforce Community Cloud. Today I'm going to be focused on portals and some of the exciting innovation around portals and our digital experience platform. And I just want to mention, as leading the presentation for the final Release Readiness Live session, we like to think we saved the best for last. Please don't mention that to the Sales Cloud or Service Cloud product managers. Fortunately, this session is not being recorded. And without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my coworker, Neil.
Thanks, Eric. Hi, everyone. I'm Neil Hayek. I'm a Director in Product Management. I'm going to be speaking with you about service communities as well as our digital experience platform.
Thank you, Neil. Hi, I'm Vibhor Gaur. I am Senior Director Product Management at Salesforce. And today I'll be covering PRM, which is Partner Relationship Management. We have tons of things that we want to share with you and love to be part of that.
Well, welcome to all of you, and I'm really excited to hear what you have. So Eric, let's get started.
Sounds great. And just as a heads up, this is actually the first time presenting here at Release Readiness Live for both Neil and Vibhor. So I'm going to spend the next 75 minutes badgering them and messing with them. And I want to invite you to do the same at Twitter on that hashtag Salesforce Live.
Thanks.
My pleasure. I'm a company man, Neil. We like to think of Community Cloud as the experience layer on top of the world's #1 CRM platform, a window into Salesforce. Increasingly, what we've been focused on, which you'll see, is making sure that that window is rich and visually stunning, and also easy to build so that you can make it very quickly. With that in mind, we see two major areas of focus in Community Cloud. The first one is customer community, and the second is our partner or PRM business. So if you think about Community Cloud as a window into Salesforce, you can think of customer communities as a window into Salesforce Service Cloud, whether it's cases, field service objects, knowledge articles, things like that. Within the scope of customer communities, we see three major use cases. There are certainly others, but these are the most common patterns we see. And this is just a quick refresher to sort of help you understand what you're about to see. The first one is what we call Help Center, and that's really just taking your Salesforce knowledge articles and extending parts of that knowledge base outside the firewall directly to your customers. So the articles that your agents have authored or used to troubleshoot customer problems from the call center, sharing those directly with customers. And the great thing about that is it comes with Service Cloud. The second business and the second area of focus is what we call customer portals, and this is the business that I run. Customer portals, you can think of taking the knowledge articles that you get with Help Center and then layering in Salesforce data and business process. So you're really creating and managing records. This is really common in industries like financial services or health and life science. A great example would be if you've ever created an insurance claim. You have created business data inside of a portal. And if you drive like me, you've probably created a lot of business data in that portal in the form of insurance claims. Our third use case is a service community, and that's where you take the knowledge articles from a help center, the Salesforce data and business process from the portal, and you layer in collaboration, peer-to-peer forum type experiences. So now your customers can get help from you, and they can also get help from each other. A great example there, if you've ever Googled for guidance on how to set up business rules in Outlook, rules to channel your emails to a certain folder or in Gmail, more than likely you got your answer from another user of that product in a forum type experience. So that gives you a little bit of a sense for what our customer communities product's all about. Let's talk real quick about partners. If you think of customer communities as your window into Service Cloud, you can think of partner communities as a window into Sales Cloud. In particular, things like leads, opportunities, sales collateral. And what you're typically doing, if you're a company like Cisco, for example, you sell routers and switches largely through a reseller channel, and you've got folks like Dimension Data or CDW who need to get at those leads and opportunities and that reseller sales collateral, and they do that via partner community. That's a little bit of a background for Community Cloud itself. Our focus for the last 12 months, and in particular for the last 3 to 4 months as we've worked on Winter 19, is across 5 key themes. First theme is the digital experience platform. And the work and innovation we do here really serves all of the use cases. So when you start to look at features like out-of-the-box themes or audience targeting, that's stuff that's going to benefit portal customers, service community, all the way through to PRM. And our big announcement for this release is Content Management System for Community Cloud, CMS for Community Cloud. I'm just going to say that. I don't want to steal Neil's thunder here, so we'll wait a couple of minutes and let him demo and talk more about it. Second area of focus for us is around customer portals, where we've been very focused on bringing flows to logged out users. That's going to allow you to do things like product registration, and portal registration, GDPR data collection, lots of exciting stuff there. I want to call a timeout for just a second. I forgot to mention something very important. We're going to conduct an informal poll today of what is your favorite feature that you see. And it can be from this list of 5 or other features. And what we would love is if you would let us know your favorite feature, both in the success community with that hashtag Salesforce Live, as well as out there on Twitter, same hashtag again, Salesforce Live. And whichever feature gets the most votes, the product manager who demoed that is actually going to have to buy a round of drinks for all of the other product managers.
I'm not agreeing to that.
Neil knows that he is probably going to win because he gets to show off CMS for Community Cloud. The other thing is, if you come up to me at Dreamforce and mention you voted for my feature, Flows for Logged Out Users, I will buy you a drink. So that hashtag is Salesforce Live. Real quickly, let's talk about the other areas of focus, and then we'll get to the demo. So on the service community side, we've brought threaded discussions in so that you can now respond not just to the original post, but also to comments on the post, or even responses to those comments. As I mentioned earlier, the Help Center comes with Service Cloud. If you own Service Cloud Essentials or higher, you own a Help Center without buying a single community license. Marketing hates when I say that, but it's true. And what we've done is made it much easier to set that up. We've created a dedicated template and a setup flow. You can have your help center up in 3 or 4 steps. Even the most incompetent Salesforce admin can now set up a help center. Last but not least, partner relationship management. A lot of platform innovations, a lot of really exciting things. And the one that we'll probably focus on right now is delegated admin, making it much easier to manage your users. Now we're going to jump into the demo, and I'm going to talk about 2 major areas. The first one, and we're going to keep it right here on my laptop for folks in the booth. The first one is going to be flows for logged out users. And if you think of Community Cloud as that window into Salesforce, you can really think of a flow as a window directly into a complex business process, something like a warranty return or a product upgrade. The second thing we're going to show off is Einstein Next Best Action. For those of you not familiar, Einstein Next Best Action is a way of giving a smart recommendation to a customer in the community. In particular, we're going to bring together business data, business rules, and predictive models like Einstein or Watson to come up with the right offer for the right customer at the right time. Let's take a look. So our hero today is going to be a character named Lauren Boyle, and the company we're going to be dealing with is called Capricorn Coffee. You may or may not be able to see that very well. Let me zoom it in a little for you. So our customer community is for Capricorn Coffee. For those of you who have seen Release Readiness Live, you're probably familiar with Capricorn Coffee. They've gone into the manufacturing business. They now make large-scale commercial coffee production equipment for cafes and industrial roasting facilities.
They're growing.
They are growing, and they're not just growing coffee. They're also growing as a business.
Exactly.
I promise the jokes are only going to get worse, folks. I mean, better. So, the hero is Lauren Boyle. She owns a chain of coffee shops, and they're a big Capricorn Coffee customer. Lauren buys some industrial equipment from Capricorn Coffee, and she is greeted with an email inviting her to register her products today. This email comes from Salesforce Marketing Cloud. We're not going to go too deep into our Marketing Cloud integration, except to mention that it exists, and it allows you to send users on Marketing Cloud journeys that bring them to communities or launch them on those journeys from communities. There's a great session at Dreamforce Friday at noon about our integration with Marketing Cloud. So Lauren gets that, and it invites her to register the product she just purchased. She clicks on that link, and she's taken to a registration flow. Now, the important thing to understand here is that Lauren is not yet logged into the community. She's totally unauthenticated, and our engineering teams in Winter 19 have done the work, and it was not a trivial amount of work, to expose these flows outside of logged in communities to guest users. So Lauren picks the 3 products she just bought. She's going to tell Capricorn a little bit about herself. She's not named Eric. She's named Lauren.
So she has never come to this site. She's like a guest user.
Exactly. She's a brand new user.
Very, very.
That's a good point, Vibor. So the other thing she can do while she's registering her products is create an account on the support portal where we can help her solve her problems. You'll see more about that shortly. So she's going to opt to do that. And next thing she's going to do is she's going to set her contact preferences. And this is something we're hearing from our customers. GDPR has made life a little difficult. It's taken vast swaths of the email marketing database and made them inaccessible. And so suddenly it's a lot more important to actually capture consent to market. So we think product registration is a great way to do that. We think portal registration is another time where you can do that. And guest user flows are a great technology to do that. Without any further ado, she's going to set a password. And now we actually set up this flow to set the password. That's something we did for demo simplicity. In reality, you would never do this. You would probably send them an email inviting them to register. Right now, the API calls to create that record in Salesforce have just been made, and you can see it was a success. So Lauren is now, and we'll go ahead and log in and take a look at what just happened. Lauren has now registered her products. She now has a contact record in Salesforce, a user record in Salesforce, GDPR preferences logged, and she can log into the portal. Here we are in the portal, and I'm going to check out what was just created. So you can see I'm logged in as Lauren Boyle. That is the email address I just entered. There's nothing up my sleeves, no demo magic there. Second thing that happened is all of those preferences, she said it's okay to contact me. So she has not opted out, no do not process, do not market, any of that. And she can see that and set that in the portal. And last but not least, the products she just registered actually show up right here in this really cool looking visual product catalog. That's actually using CMS for Community Cloud to create rich content out of Salesforce asset records. I'm going to leave it to Neil to demo that. But what you just saw was guest user flows.
Very powerful.
Next thing we want to do is fast forward about 6 months. Lauren Boyle is now a happy Capricorn Coffee customer. She owns lots of equipment and she logs into the portal all the time. And she logs in one morning, and much to her dismay, she finds out that one of her espresso machines has gone offline. She researches and she finds out that it is the boiler is running cold. She's not making warm enough coffee. So she's going to do a search right here in the portal to try to figure out what's going on. Why is the coffee coming out cold? So she'll do a search for cold coffee. Unfortunately, that was not a very good search. So she's got a nice cold brew recipe, not necessarily what she was looking for. One thing I do want to mention, an exciting Winter 19 feature we delivered, is the ability to do filtered search on a whole bunch of record types. So you can now drill down by things like case status, case priority, case origin, things like that. You can do that on about a dozen different record types starting in Winter 19. In this particular case, Lauren's going to try a better search string. She realizes she's not dealing with cold coffee, she's dealing with cold espresso. Now, once I hit enter on that search, I want you to look at this right-hand side of the screen. You're wondering, why is there a big white space on my search results page? And you're about to find out. It's because that search for cold espresso triggered Einstein Next Best Action. Here's an NBA offer. And the offer is troubleshoot your espresso machine problems. Again, we've got business data about Lauren. We know she owns this specific espresso machine in her shop. We've got business rules. If Lauren starts searching for espresso in the community, surface this troubleshooting flow, and we're going to go ahead and launch into that NBA offer. In this case, NBA was offering a flow. Next Best Action is in closed pilot right now, and right now it can surface flows. Down the road, we'll introduce the ability to surface other things like quick actions, global actions. So in this particular case, we're going to go through the flow. Lauren's having an issue with her coffee quality. It's not with consistency. The coffee is consistently cold. So we'll say temperature is too cold. And Lauren spares no expense for her customers. She's got the fancy dual boiler system. And this flow is going to walk you through these series of screens. And this is an interesting thing that just happened. Recognizing we know exactly what piece of equipment Lauren owns, rather than forcing her to pick up the phone and contact support, we're going to proactively solve her problem. We're going to turn her moment of customer pain, my espresso machine is not working, into a moment of customer delight. We're going to say, look, Lauren, we know the problem. It's our fault. Free of charge, we are shipping a replacement part to you, and here's your case number. Now, we can do this because of the Salesforce platform. You trigger case creation using Process Builder there from the flow, and you trigger a business process where that replacement part gets sent out.
So it's pretty cool, like 2-3 business processes combined into this particular flow. That's powerful.
Thanks, Vibor. Yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff, right? Flows really harness and unleash the power of Salesforce, both in terms of surfacing Salesforce stuff in the flow and also creating records and triggering processes inside of Salesforce.
I can see customers already thinking, how can we use this?
Yes, absolutely. So here's the problem. We graciously shipped the replacement part, we being Capricorn Coffee, graciously shipped the replacement part to the Upper West Side location where she was having problems. The issue is she doesn't want it sent there. She wants it sent to the warehouse, because if you send it directly to the cafe, you know, like some hipster baristas can open it and not know what to do with it. Next thing you know, it's in the dumpster. So we got to send it to the warehouse. So unfortunately, she's going to have to contact support. So she fires up a live agent chat. Actually, she might not have to contact support. because Capricorn Coffee has a chat bot called BrewBot. Here's a little interesting side fact. We called it BrewBot. Originally, it was supposed to be called Cappy, but that looked too much like crappy. So we changed the name to BrewBot. And here BrewBot is asking, what's wrong? What can I do to help you? Chatbots are not a brand new Winter 19 feature, but they're such an important part of our long-term strategy, and we see so many customers doing exciting things with them that we wanted to show them off today. So she's got a customer service issue. In particular, it's an issue with her shipment. Now, the nice thing is this chatbot's built on top of Salesforce, and so it knows that she has 2 shipments pending in the warehouse and 2 that have just been sent out. And it surfaces those Salesforce records. She says the issue is with this replacement dual boiler part. What do you want to do? Do you want to cancel that? Do you want to reroute that? She wants to reroute it. So she goes ahead and reroutes it, and they say, here we're going to send it to the Upper West Side. Where would you like us to send it? Send it to the LIC warehouse, please, where the maintenance team can pick it up. So just like that, a new ticket's been created, the shipment's been rerouted, and she still has not had to actually interact with a human. Now, some of us like to interact with humans, but many of us come from an engineering background and prefer not to. And as it turns out, 81% of customers actually prefer to solve problems for themselves versus having to contact support. That stat is from the Harvard Business Review.
Totally. I think this is like within 5 seconds, you are able to just reroute the entire order, which is unheard. You have to call support and on the phone for like hours to get it done. This is amazing.
Yeah, it's really exciting stuff. Thank you, Vibhor. So that concludes the portals part of the demo, and I just want to take a minute and see if there's any questions. Hopefully we've inspired you all to at least ask a few questions.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you. And truly, the flows for the guest users, I love that. That's fantastic. And actually have a business process that's really intelligent for those unauthenticated users, or pre-authenticated, as in this case. And really, this week has been or this release, there's definitely a theme in Winter 19. It's really flowtastic. I'm going to say that's a new word. So, and those of you who are interested in automation, also check out yesterday's session on Service Cloud, some great flow stuff there, as well as the platform session. So lots more on it as well. And Sam, what questions do we have out there so far?
Well, it's a Flownatic question. So how can I learn more about creating a guest user flow for portal registration?
Oh, that's a fantastic question, and I'm glad you asked it. So the flow that you just saw for that demo was actually built, at least partly by myself, but largely the important parts, by a couple of our engineers, Ashley and Jitendra, and they're actually doing a theater session at Dreamforce this year. It's 8:45 a.m. on Wednesday, and they're going to walk you through how they built that flow, everything from the flow itself to the underlying Apex code that creates the user. So check that out.
And I love this question from Rick because it kind of adds on to this. How many non-authenticated users can access a portal or a community? So he's really interested in this.
Sure. So there's a few things to understand here, right? The Help Center, which is just sharing your knowledge articles outside the knowledge base, doesn't require authentication. And so ostensibly, you can have unlimited people come there and interact with your flows. Now, practically, there's a license limit, which is 500,000 page views for Enterprise Edition, and you can correct me if I'm wrong later, or 1 million for Unlimited Edition and above. And so in that sense, you have that limit, but that's the only real limit.
That's great. And this is a little off of that specific topic, but I think that this is a great question from Jason. First of all, he says, thank you for the great panel of rock stars that are gathered here today. And he's asking, he'd love to be able to view the community as specific profiles versus as an admin. Is that a capability?
That is not currently a capability. That's something that is in the works. So we're actually going to have the ability to preview and use the community as a specific user. That is a very, very clear safe harbor caveat reminder there. That's something the engineering team is working on because we have heard that request. And we, as users of the product ourselves, have that pain as well.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that question, Jason. And I would search the idea exchange and make sure that you vote it, ask other people to vote it, because if that's on the roadmap, let's make sure we have the votes to support it. So, Elna, I'm going to go back to you.
Yeah, thanks. So let's move on and hand it over to Neil so we can talk about the service community and the special extra treat, the CMS.
Hi again, everyone. Neil, and I'm excited to be talking to you about service communities and our digital experience platform. Service communities are key for industries such as manufacturing and high tech, where they want to have a one-stop shop for customers to come to get answers to their questions and to manage their cases. These communities usually have forums, and so people can both ask and answer each other's questions. And so I'm excited to announce that we're introducing threaded discussions to forums. This allows them to be much more engaging than they currently are. You'll see in a moment what I mean. In addition, recognition badges. So for people that have been most helpful and stand out in the community, customers or internal employees, such as moderators, can thank and reward individuals with these badges, which are prominently displayed on their profile. Let's have a look at what each of those features are like. Going over to a demo. I'm logged in now as Eric Ware, many hats at Capricorn community. At the moment, he's acting as a moderator. So he's going to go check out the forum.
It's worth noting that in addition to being a Salesforce admin and community moderator, Eric Ware is also a coffee enthusiast.
Thank you for that key fact.
Our characters lead rich and interesting lives.
So Eric's looking at this discussion around how you can sharpen the blades. And Lauren says she's going to try this trick out. Eric is curious if this works, so he's going to ask. Now, you'll notice we have a threaded discussion going on here. Lauren replying to Sean, Eric replying to Lauren. If we go over to Lauren's email.
Neil, how will Lauren know there was a response?
As we've had in the past, emails through Chatter posts, of course, that is an option for the user. They could be notified by notifications in Chatter, so they prefer. Lauren sees this email, sees the question. She wants to answer. What she chose to answer goes back to the community. We highlight Eric's message so she knows exactly what she's responding to. And she's delighted to say, Eric, it really did work. Now you'll notice that her reply is at the same depth as Eric's. We only go 3 levels deep because we found that the user experience on mobile devices is pretty poor if you try to go much deeper than that. So now Eric's realizes Lauren's been a good contributor to this community and wants to reward her. To do that, we need to go to the management console, gamification, and here's where we manage our badges.
So Neil, that was Community Cloud Workspaces?
Yes.
Great.
So he wants to create a new badge called a VIP badge. It wants to be something that only he could give to members. Other badges can be given to each other from members in the community. This will be a special badge for top contributors. So he's going to call it VIP Cap Coffee's Best Contributors. Now, because it's a VIP badge, he doesn't want it to be public. He doesn't want everyone to be able to give it to each other. So he'll uncheck public. Let's give it an image. Switching demo laptops, forgot one aspect. You can provide an image. Let's just believe before that. Actually, it looks like we have to. Don't know. Let's see. The last minute change.
You can imagine a great looking VIP image right there.
Just imagine there's a, yeah. Let's see. So the next part is how you actually make this private. Let's see if I can modify one of the existing ones, not our out-of-the-box ones. Fortunately, I can't show you a minor part. So there's a management over here for each of the badges, and we made that one private, but you could further control who has access. So by private, it's currently set to internal members of the org, but Eric can modify it further to say only he's able to give it.
So to clarify, Neil, we're saying everybody can see on your profile that you got the badge, but only people with permission can actually give the badge when it's
correct. You can have granular control over which individuals can give it.
And the other subtle thing to note there is the out-of-the-box badges can't be modified, but you can create and modify any for yourself.
Yep. So, gonna have to improvise from here. It's a bit different, but in order to give a badge, you go to the profile. So it goes to Lauren's profile. There's this option to give badges. So normally, if you click change badge, if this went as I intended, you'd see a VIP badge over here. Fortunately, it's not there. It's going to just have to thank Lauren. You see this displayed on her profile. If you were to go back to Lauren's email, she's notified she received the badge. So Eric was the admin. Lauren, as a community member, is also able to give badges. Actually, I want to go to Eric's profile. So to give badges, typically, if this was configured as I intended again, she would only see these 4 options. She would not see a VIP option, which Eric would be seeing here. So she'll just have to thank Eric as well. All right.
Neil, I'd like to give you a badge for clutch performance in the face of demo adversity.
Exactly.
Should we hop back to the slides and talk about some of the digital experience platform innovation that's to come?
Absolutely. I'm excited to speak to it, partially because I'm on the team, partially because it's a great feature. So I'd like to announce CMS for Community Cloud. This allows you to complete 3 key use cases. One is you're able to reuse content from your other systems, such as Adobe Experience Manager, Sitecore, Drupal, and you could use that content within your community. Second, and this is new as of beta for Winter 19, you're able to use your CRM data as content. So those list views you're used to seeing is just rows and columns of data. You're able to transform into visually appealing content on your website. I'll show you that in a moment. And third, you're able to author new content with our native content authoring options. You can create news, blogs, banners, and more. About to show you both of those.
So did you say that you can pull external data?
You can.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So let's go back to a demo. Spend more time in the demos.
Hop back to Neil's computer. Let's talk more rock. That's our attitude here in Community Cloud.
Sounds good. So I'm back to Eric. He's wearing a bit of a different hat. Marketing says they want to have a new page. This one to have blogs, but also to throw in a bit of advertisement. So let's show how you could create blogs. From the Community Management Console, if you go to Content Management, you see we have these options for native content, connected CRM objects. I'll show you that in a minute, but notice that product is one whitelisted object of CRM, and CMS Connect. And we have a few connections set up here for Adobe, Sitecore, WordPress. So there's a blog already created here. Now this is authored natively within Salesforce. So you notice there's a rich blog, image and text.
Yeah, that's a very, with pictures and all those things, that's very nice.
Yep, many more options, of course.
So you can author in Salesforce now.
You
That's
can.
Very nice. And
So-
do you have versioning and all that here?
Yep,
Perfect.
it's right here.
Very nice.
And also notice that we tag this as a blog. You'll see what that means right now.
Now, is that a new kind of topic, Neil, or is that the existing topics already in Community Cloud?
It is existing topics, but it's a new use case. And when you use them to tag content like this, you're able to add it to collections. Thanks for the segue. So a collection is just as you'd expect. It is a set of content. were you to create a new collection, you could choose two different types. We'll start with native because we're dealing with blogs. If I were to choose native, you have the options of what content you want to pull in. So I'm going to stick with topics. I would say include, I would say blogs. I won't actually click finish to create it, but you end up with something like this that says native content, and these are for the blogs. Now, we also wanted to pull in some products for this page. So back to collections, you'll notice that second option, Salesforce CRM. So let me just call it products, Salesforce CRM. There was that white list of approved objects. Product, in this case, is what we're interested in. And you see a set of list views, and you just configure these as you're used to configure them before. Commercial products, and if I were to click finish, you would end up with a collection like this. Products, list view, commercial products. So this is how you're able to create your data and set it up within our community management console. Now I'm going to show you how you're able to add it to your site. Switching over to the builder.
The builder. Is this the app builder, Neil?
This is the community builder. For those who don't know, it offers a wealth of options for creating and customizing your site. Many out-of-the-box features. Also the options of adding your own code for specific styling.
There's 100 plus components out of the box. We've basically componentized all of Salesforce right there in the builder for you.
Yep. Components, many themes out of the box, and also on the App Exchange you could get more themes, more components. So, speaking of components, you can see this list. I'm going to filter down to CMS, and we're dealing with collections for the time being. So, I add a collection. Now this one will represent blogs. So from those collections already created, say blogs, instantly start seeing our data.
That's very easy to use, drag and drop.
It is.
Neil, that looks a little funny. I think you should write some custom CSS to try to get it so that there's 2 tiles on each row rather than 3. It's a little narrow. Can you write that CSS for us real quick?
I could. It would take a while, and time is money, so I'm going to do it the easier way. If I expand our collection layouts, you'll see many options for controlling how this looks. I could switch this between a grid or a carousel. If I wanted to see one blog at a time, I'm sure you guys are familiar with how a carousel would work. I'm going to stick with the grid for this use case, and to fix this issue, I'm going to say I only want 1 row displayed, show 4.
Wow.
I think that looks better, and that was pretty much faster than I could write CSS.
Point and click. That was awesome, Neil.
Yep. So, in addition to those layout options, we're able to display this as banners, tiles, or cards. I'll stick with banners for this. You'll notice there's a wealth of other customizations. So maybe I'll hide that button. Maybe I want this to look a little bit more square. So if I make this a bit smaller, okay, that works. Too many options to go into, so you'll just have to play around with this. Again, it is beta as of winter.
So what do they have to do to sign up for that beta?
They don't have to do anything. They just have to log into their community.
Awesome.
So now for that advertisement, those products. If I add another collection here, this time I'm going to go for the products. Now, starting off, it doesn't look as appealing as before.
Oh, those are Grail tiles, Neil. You're going to need to write some kind of connection layer to bring in the images. Yeah, I'm a little worried about that.
Well, never fear. I need to map the content because this is CRM, so we need to map the fields of this entity. We do support custom objects, so we can't know for sure which fields you're using and what mapping you want. The key thing here, in this case, is the image. If I specify the image, one click, that looks a lot nicer.
That's very nice. So you're pulling CRM data and showing it on your community page. That's good.
You could use a wealth of our standard objects as well as custom objects here.
That's pretty cool, Neil, but it's kind of hard to read that text, the way the white text goes over the coffee machines. Again, I think you're going to need to write some custom CSS to fix this one.
You're half right there. I don't like how it looks. Wrong about the CSS. So let's go to a tile. I think that's much nicer. And
Yeah.
one thing bugs me a little bit. I still think this is a bit, don't really like the fonts down there. Gonna make that a little bit smaller. It's focus on the image. Now we have CRM acting as content on your page.
Great.
Just have to finish this off. Let's add a banner to this because you can't escape it. So this is CMS Connect, and you're able to choose HTML or JSON. In this case, it's for a banner. Connection to Adobe Experience Manager. It just has to know the name and be able to type it correctly. And if I could do both those things, I got a banner.
Well,
Faster than I could finish saying it.
That's the banner from the website, but this is the portal. This is not the website.
It's that easy to reuse.
Nice.
So if I were to preview this page now, you can see all this content. Again, many more options for how you were to display this.
Neil, you got to send this off to the web team so they can make it mobile responsive.
Yep. You just like doing things the hard way. If I just view this in mobile, you'll see the same content.
Which button did you click to make it mobile responsive?
Out of the box.
Unbelievable. Out of the box.
That's pretty cool. That's a very awesome. Drag and drop, point and click, no coding, and you can assemble your pages like.
Yeah.
in no
Told you I
time.
was excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now there's one more thing. In reality, you might not want every user to see the same thing. So that's where audience targeting comes into play. To give you an example of that, I'm in one of the other communities as Eric, and he's logged in, he's just an individual, he sees the personal products here, but very likely, knowing that you have a commercial customer, you might just want to show them our commercial products, or maybe an industrial customer, industrial ones. So rather than displaying all three, you could have the option of automatically displaying the right images, the right products based on the customer. I'll show you how you would do that. So in the builder as Eric, we have these different page variations, but the key here is audiences. So we have audiences set up already for commercial and industrial customers. Industrial customer, for example, has either $250,000 spent with you, or the product family is industrial based off of their history. Commercial, very similar, but less than 250,000, and commercial.
Is that an or statement between those? I thought we only supported and statements, Neil.
You know our product well. We did only support and until winter. Many enhancements to audience targeting in this winter release. So, first of all, you're able to target your audience based on the profile. So you're all familiar with profiles, I assume. You use the profile, location, this would be a geolocation, so city, state, or even country. If you want different contents based on their location, I'm sure you probably have different languages for your international customers. The referring domain, and what I find most interesting is the user object. But you're not restricted to the user object. As you can see, we've traversed down between standard and custom objects, and you could get to data, to almost all of your data. So in this case, user to accounts, all the way down to figure out the product family and say it's industry.
So you can use CRM data to filter further your audiences.
Yep.
That's powerful.
So you're
That's
creating
very-
content with a content management system and then targeting it with CRM data
That's right.
That's great.
with no code written.
Still no code.
Awesome.
Now, as Eric pointed out, the or. So prior to winter, we only had all conditions being met. But now you could say any condition being met, which will translate to an or statement. So you could get the kind of behavior we want here. So audiences have many capabilities, and you're able to target pages, themes, or even components. So all throughout your community, you could target different parts of it to different audiences. Let's go back to the slides.
So back to my laptop to have a look at some of the other exciting innovation coming for the DXP.
So we're not stopping at CMS. I'd like to introduce my communities, my Salesforce for Communities. This allows you to create a hybrid mobile app. So in one motion, you're able to both publish your community to the web, and you're able to create an app that you could distribute through the iOS and Android stores.
That's a Salesforce branded app, right, Neil?
Customer branded app.
What?
Also, Community CDNs is becoming generally available as of winter. This is a free CDN that you're able to use thanks to our partners at Akamai. This could be especially valuable to improve performance if you have distributed customers that may be far from a Salesforce data center. In addition to our pre-built themes, we're also introducing APIs to create new themes. Now, at the moment, you can create them, but soon developers will be able to distribute these whether privately to others or across our App Exchange.
Interesting side note, the portal, which we showed you earlier from Capricorn Coffee, was created using one of those brand new pre-built themes, the one called Cypress, so worth a closer look.
All right. Thank you. Over to Vibor to talk about PRM.
Should we do a quick Q&A? Anything interesting coming in from the crowd before we
please.
let
Yes,
Vibor
let's
talk?
take a brief pause so we can digest all of that. And you know what, Neil, you may be buying that round of drinks, but we'll see. We'll see, because we're not done yet. So what questions do we have out there, Sam?
Well, we have some shout outs to Neil, so you'll need to go look through Twitter and the community because it's kind of fun. Eddie is asking, this is going back to badges. Is there a way to automatically assign a badge based on certain criteria?
I would have to get back to you on that. Unfortunately, I'm not the product manager of that area.
I can take a crack at it, but I can't guarantee I'm correct. Which is really most of the time when I answer a question. We do have it on the roadmap to tie badges into Process Builder and Flow Builder so that they can be triggered via a process. Right now, my sense is you could do it via Apex code, and certainly down the road in the roadmap, we're going to let you do it via Process Builder. If for some reason I'm wrong, I will post that out to the success community.
You know, I use badges a lot. In fact, one day not too long ago, I gave out 300 of them in one day. That was lots of fun. So I'm looking forward to some automation options there coming maybe.
I think it's a great question. So thank you, Eddie, for answering that or asking that. And I suggest that people go like that post in the community so you can follow the answers.
Maybe even give Neil a badge for his demo clutch performance.
Well, actually, somebody said we need to give Neil a badge.
Thank you
so
all.
That's great. Lots of interest. Rick is asking, what are the CMS connectors that you're connecting to? Specifically, he uses IBM FileNet. He's very curious as to how he can connect to these natively through Salesforce through these new mechanisms.
All right. So your CMS Connect is already available. It's the native authoring in the CRM that's coming in winter. So if you were to go to your community and you went to CMS Connect, you would notice that other than some of the out-of-the-box ones we mentioned, such as AEM and Sitecore, there's an option for other. I'm not too familiar with the specifics, but I believe you should be able to connect to them as long as you can get the results through JSON or HTML. I may have to get back to you with more specifics if you encounter issues.
Yeah, so out of the box, we give you, as Neil mentioned, AEM, Sitecore, SDL Tridian. We also give you WordPress for bringing in blog content via JSON. There's the other option, basically anything that can output JSON. At a minimum, you could use the JSON connector to bring that in.
Yeah.
Elna, I think we should proceed, but we do
right.
have some more questions coming towards the end.
Okay, gotcha. Let me just ask one quick clarifying question. So the CMS solution that you're unveiling, is that an add-on for Community Cloud, or is that actually baked in, included?
It's baked in. So
Wow.
a lot of capabilities coming.
Lots of power there.
Yeah, very exciting. If you own Community Cloud, you own a content management system.
All right. Well, okay, Vibor, you're up now.
All right.
Pressure's on, Vibor.
Hi guys, I'm Vibor. Again, I'm going to talk about partner relationship management. I'm very excited to cover some of the capabilities that we are bringing for winter. One of the exciting thing that we are doing, it's a pilot program in winter, but this will take the PRM application to a totally different league. What we are calling it is a partner account relationship, or basically a sharing-based relationship. We are very excited to share information around that. Another use case that we are cracking is the co-branding part of the thing. Many times resellers and distributors want to send collateral where the information and branding is from vendor as well. So that will be something that we are shipping in winter. Couple of things on the delegated administration. It's a self-service mode of partners working on certain things. Very, very helpful, very popular feature. Number of things on the user visibility that I'll be touching on. And the last but not the least is the marketing development fund. So let's quickly go over some of these items. So let me start with the problem. This specific thing that I talked about, partner account relationship. Many times when business transaction happens, you may feel that it's a very simple transaction from a producer to a customer or a vendor to a customer. But generally, reality is 80% of the business is done through channel. Any company that is north of $300 or $400 million or in different geographies may have to depend on something like this, which is your parties, your different players that are playing part in it.
This is certainly something I saw in a former life. I worked for a little company that makes routers and switches, and they sold the vast majority of their product through a channel. Depending on who you were, sometimes you could buy directly from them. Often you'd buy from a reseller like CDW or Dimension Data. Occasionally you'd buy directly from the disti. Sometimes you'd buy from the reseller, but the disti would fulfill. So it gets really complex pretty quickly.
It is. And Eric, it actually, even in certain industries, certain geographies, it can become even more complex. So now this is what our enterprise customers are dealing in day out. So what we did is we said, let's take a crack on it. And this is what we started working on. And this is going to be a journey for us. This is first step that we are doing. We're calling it partner account relationship. So let's take an example. Let's say you are dealing with distributors and resellers that are part of your partner ecosystem. And as resellers are creating opportunities in the Salesforce system, distributors want to have a visibility into it. Very typical use case. Generally, the solution is not a easy one. It's a complex, you have to establish complex relationship here. A lot of advanced coding, Apex coding that may be involved, and it's error prone, hard to maintain. So what we did is we came up with a solution which is very, very easy and point and click. And what essentially it involves is two-step process. First is you define a sharing rule. You say, for my distributors, I want to share leads or opportunities, let's say. So that's your sharing rule. And then you define a distinct relationship between these partner accounts. So those are the two steps that you do to enable this capability. It's a point and click, easy to use, and something that we are hoping that tons of customers, tons of Salesforce customers will be interested in this capability. So I'll do a very short demonstration of it just to give you an idea as to how easy it is going to be from an experience perspective. So in my demo, what I'm going to use is 3 profiles or 3 personas. Erica Ware is the Pacifica channel manager who's managing and working with partners like James Preston, who's the reseller, and Jack Berry, who's the distributor. Now, again, if we go back to our example, Jack Berry wants to see all the opportunities that are coming from reseller James Preston. So that's what I'm going to demo. But since I will be in the demo application, I'll also touch on the 2 other capabilities, the co-branding and the delegated administration, so that you can see it in one shot, all of that. So let's switch back to the demo environment.
And that's on your computer, Vibor, so we just switch windows right there.
Yeah. So as you can see, I'm logged in as Jack Berry. This is my partner portal, accessing all the information from Sales Cloud. So all the native information is now exposed here. Now, if you can notice in my demo environment, I have this one small bin here, which shows me reseller deals. And as you can see, Jack is not able to see what James is registering. So all the deals that James is registering and going to Erica, he can't see it. So this is the request that he made to Erica saying, hey, can I get visibility to what reseller is doing? So before this capability, it was very, very difficult for Erica to enable that option.
So that's only one deal this quarter for Apollo.
Yeah.
Short the Apollo stock, people.
So what Erica needs to do with this new capability is, all she needs to do is go to the account, which is our Avnet distributor, and then in the admin, she just have to establish that relationship. So let's say, if I say distributor account 2 is CTW, that means I want all the reseller opportunities to be shown to Avnet, and the way I will do it is by defining what that relationship type is. And this relationship type is the key. For this relationship type, you have already defined what objects, what entities, what access level should be driven. So once I just save this is all Erica has to do in order to manage this sort of the visibility. And what you will see here now is, if I refresh it back, all of a sudden, Jack Berry is started seeing all the deals that James Preston is putting in the system. So with very, very minimal click, point and click, Erica was able to enable this visibility.
So as the distributor, Jack can now make sure he has the inventory on hand to help fulfill these deals? Is
Absolutely.
That the idea?
That's the whole idea, that they get the visibility, they can take all the business actions that they need to.
Were you able to do this before somehow?
This was an Apex code. Generally, customers had to rely on, but this now is all enabled via point and click. All you have to do is just set the relationship, define the relationship type, and that's all it is.
That's like our DXP methodology, clicks not code.
Exactly. And that's what really generally our customers are asking for. So now since I'm on this demo environment, let me show you some of the other capabilities such as co-branding and delegated administration. Now, I am logged in as James Preston, who's the reseller we just talked about. As you can see, I'm on the partner portal, and for the folks who don't know, partner portal is essentially exposing all the rich CRM data to a very good-looking application, good-looking website. And this is one example of it. And as you can see, as a James Preston, I can see all the CRM-specific information, reporting information, campaigns, leads, and all that. And with a few clicks, I can even register a deal. So it's that seamless. One of the basic tasks that James Preston does is the leads that are coming from Erica. So Erica generally sends these leads to James, and James can now take action on it. And the way James will do it is, he will go to this lead inbox and will try to accept the lead that he wants to work on. So let's say let's select one of the lead. Lead is accepted. As you can see, this is the lead screen that is also exposed in Sales Cloud. So it's a pretty much same capability and same experience that is now exposed through a sort of a community portal.
Is that the Lightning Sales Path component right there on
Absolutely.
the page?
So it's all baked in, no coding, nothing needed here.
Nice.
You're basically exposing those functionalities. So as you can see, as James Preston, I have a lead path that I can follow. So I don't need to brainstorm my own sort of path. And this example says that, just send a email to this prospect. So all I need to do is, I'll go here to my activities and compose an email. Before this co-branding experience, I had to basically type in the email and send it to my customer or prospect. But with this capability, now I can just have pre-baked templates that are co-branded and given to me by Erica. So all I have to do is select the email template, and now everything is pre-filled. I can again personalize it, and with one click, I can just send this email. So this is very, very powerful capability that we are exposing through Partner Portal. A lot of customers have asked for it, and I'm hoping that this will be a great help for their business processes. All right, let's take another stab on the delegated administration. What I'm really excited to show you is now James Preston, who is also an admin on this site, can go to account management. And that's the place where they can see all the information about their account, their company. And not only that, they are able to see all the users from their company that are accessing this partner portal.
So James is the VP of sales, and these are the directors and sales reps on James's team.
Absolutely. So now in one shot, he can see all that thing. Not only that, he can add new members. So he doesn't need to call Erica or Pacifica to do these things. He can easily self-servicely manage these things, not only adding new members, but for the existing folks, he can edit their profile, reset their password, or deactivate them if he thinks that they are not needed anymore. So very, very cool feature. We are very excited that this self-service capability is now exposed through Partner Relationship Management Portal. Delegated administration is something that tons and tons of people were asking for it. If you go to an idea, there were a couple of questions around it, and we are happy that we are able to deliver this in Winter 19. All right, let's switch back to our slides now. Couple of other capabilities that I would like to touch on is sharing sets. So as you may be aware of, sharing sets was in sort of pilot in the last release. This release, it's going GA for the licensing. That means if, let's say, you were customer community license and were using sharing set, you can now upgrade to customer community plus or partner community without losing this functionality. So this is a major ask from a lot of our customers, and they will be delighted to see that this is happening.
I would file this one under the category of boring but important. It's not necessarily the sexiest demo, but this is something I've heard people scream for a long time, and it's going to make a lot of people's lives a lot simpler.
Exactly. And in the beta program, there are capabilities that we are again exposing in addition to that basic sharing set capability. So, contact to multiple account that is in the beta, and some of the objects, CRM objects, are in beta. So that's sharing set. Another area that I'm excited to share is this partner user uniqueness. So a lot of customers have come to us and said, we love Salesforce, but we are also buying other companies that also have Salesforce. So now we have multiple organizations in our company, and we want to enable partners across these organizations. One of the problems that they were facing was, and this was the limitation, that once you create a partner user in one org, you cannot use the same username like John Doe at such-and-such.com in the other org. And that was by design, we did that. But we heard that, yes, that was an issue, and they had to, customers were coming up with some weird workarounds. So with this release, we have removed that friction. Now, with one setting turned on, you will be able to use the same username across the orgs. So you don't have to worry about coming up with the workarounds. Another capability that we are bringing is the community user visibility. And what it is previous to this feature enabled, let's say you had multiple communities in your organization. There was one flag which said, can each users in the communities, can they see each other or not? And this was one flag on the org level. So when you turn off everyone in the community cannot see each other. If you turn on, everyone can see it. So it was basically at a very high level. Customers asked to bring it down to community level so that for each community, they can decide whether the users can see each other or not. And so with this release, we have turned that capability on as well.
This is an important one. Roughly 30% of our customers have more than one community on top of the same Salesforce organization. So if you've got a peer-to-peer forum where you want folks to see who the other users are and interact, you can now do that in that community while locking things down in the partner community so your resellers don't know anything about each other.
Exactly. Thank you, Eric.
I like it that it's a feature so easy to use. It's just a checkbox, but it has so much power behind it.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are going with the checkbox kind of a norm now. So even this example, which is the MDF, for folks who don't know, MDF stands for Marketing Development Fund. And what it means is it allows partners to work with vendors like Pacifica, Erica, on marketing events. So in this example, James Preston wants to do advertisement at a soccer stadium. And so they want to request fund, they want to request fund claims and all that. What happened was with the MDF capability, there were some bunch of validations that we had baked into the processes. So some of the validations was like you cannot have a fund request which is beyond your budget. Let's say, for example, that was one of the validation. Some of the customers who are heavily using this capability, they came back saying, hey, can we relax some of these validations because we have a little bit different business process? And fair enough. I think that's every company has their own different business process. So with this one flag, which we are introducing in Winter 19, you can turn off all the system validations. So basically, it will be plain vanilla then. There won't be any validation that will be kicking in. And you'll be able to extend your MDF validation using your own validation logic. Back to you, Eric.
Thank you much, Vibhor. Some very exciting stuff coming. So just another reminder to get out there and vote. Salesforce Live is the hashtag, both on the Twitter as well as in our success community. It can be any of these 5 features or something else you saw today that you like the best. And let us know. As product people, we are data-driven, and we love to hear what is resonating with you. Do we have a little time for questions?
Oh, sure, yeah, we do have some time. And I'm telling you, it's a pretty close contest because Vibhor, you did a really good job of listening to customers and giving them what they've been asking for. And I will say, I agree with you. You never underestimate the power of those small things, the little removing the pain, making those community admins and managers' jobs more interesting, right? So they're not spending time adding people to teams and such and trying to figure out how to expose records, So thank you so much for that. And I'm sure lots of folks who are out there using Community Cloud really appreciate what you've done.
Delegated administration is definitely going to be a big feature.
And the multi-tier support, huge power there. So
we are going in a totally different journey. Customers will be delighted what we are coming up with the next couple of releases. But this is just one example of where we are going.
I can't wait to see what happens. And what do you have out there, Sam? What kind of questions are coming in?
Well, Jason asked a great question. Very excited about delegated administration. He would like to know if it's available in customer communities as well.
Yes, I think it is. I may have to check it, but we don't have any restriction there. So hopefully, I think it is there. We can come back to you.
Okay, we'll get back to you in the community, but it sounds like that's probably going to work for you. Mac is asking, for relaxing partner uniqueness, will existing users with multiple orgs and alternate usernames be moved back to their first username or for their additional orgs? That was a long sentence. There's actually more questions around this whole concept of multiple user logins and multiple orgs and how that's all going to work.
Got it. Yeah. So the existing orgs or existing customers have to request for that capability to turn on, but we are not cleaning up the secondary usernames that you may have created. We are enabling that certain username that you want to stick with will be honored across the orgs. So if that answered your question.
That's great. All right. And Erica, who has done such a great job posting screenshots out on Twitter, she's asking, how soon will cases and work orders be able to be leveraged with partner account relationship?
We are working on it, safe harbor, but we are working on that area.
All right, Erica, thank you for asking the questions, and thank you for posting all of your screenshots. That's been wonderful out on Twitter to see. Elna, how are we doing?
We've got time for some more questions.
Okay, so I'm going to go to just more broader questions because we have quite a few in there.
Great.
I'm going to ask Reed is very excited about this whole concept of segmentation and targeting users' audiences, and they target based upon the user, their account associated with their contact record, an article type, and a product. They want to know, can we use audiences for this level of granular content? How granular can you get in your audience definitions?
So traversing from the user object will allow you to go 8 levels deep. I believe I went 5 or 6 in that demo, but really you could get pretty far down from that. And you're able to just use fields on any of those objects. I can't think of limitations off the top of my head besides 8 levels deep.
There are a couple of things to bear in mind on the builder side of the house there. You can target an entire page based on this criteria. You can also target individual Lightning components.
Correct.
One of the limitations we've had in the past, because I heard you reference article types, is you haven't necessarily been able to target things related to topics or data categories inside of knowledge, for example. And that's something we're working on. That safe harbor on the roadmap, we want to give you topic level targeting, which would then unlock you to target sets of knowledge articles as well. So safe harbor, no guaranteed time frame on that, but we're trying to get to that level of granularity as well.
Thanks, Eric.
And Cole, who has been waiting patiently for several days, has asked a question that I wanted to highlight. With regards to Winter 19, are CRM content views engagements visible through the Community 360 module? Is that something we can answer today, or should we get back to Cole?
CRM content views engagement. So as luck would have it, my Scrum teams have built out some of the community 360.
I think so. You are able to, for CRM data such as products, I think this is the question. If you have products exposed in your community and a customer is clicking through those products, through Community 360, you can't see those products. So I think that's the question. And I know I looked at that like about a month ago or so it should be part of Winter 19.
So we support about a dozen objects, including product 2, tasks, articles, cases. We do also support custom objects. So if that's not exactly what you were looking for, then by all means on Twitter, clarify what you mean by the content engagement views, and we can go deeper on that one.
And I think one last question.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Jordan is asking, can we combine and or clauses or filters in an audience?
Like filter logic.
It's not quite like our reporting logic with the combination of ands or ors. So as you saw, it's kind of a drop down at the top, how you could say all the conditions are anded together or they're ored together.
That said, you do have some flexibility in terms of equals, does not equal, is greater than, is less than. So you might end up with an and where you essentially use the is not equal to sort of create a sort of pseudo or condition.
It's true. I didn't show the details. I used the example where they spent greater than or less than 250,000, but there's many more options there. Equals, not equals, includes if it's like a string, etc.
All right, well, thank you so much for all your questions, and thank you for the great demonstrations and review of all the things that are coming and in the Winter 19 release. And that is a wrap for us this week and for Winter 19 Release Readiness Live. If you missed any of the sessions, again, we do have recordings available on the page, and so you can check back anytime, rewatch them, or share them with others. And if you didn't get to your question live, don't worry, we will follow up with you within the next few days. No question left behind, as Sam said. And we do love your feedback, so please, if you could fill out the survey, which should be linked on the page as well, let us know what you thought of the broadcast, any of the ones that you may have attended this week. And now, we're off to Dreamforce. So we hope that we see some of you there. And if not, we hope you'll come back and join us again for Spring 19, early next year. So until then, let's keep the conversation going in the release readiness community, where all of us are there to help you be release ready.